Miami and Louisville kick it off this weekend. Tyler Van Dyke. Did you see the Tyler Van Dyke statements today about basically, and I'm just putting it in a nutshell. He said that his identity is not going to be found in football, which I don't mind. Like, okay, I'm cool with that. But the only reason that you're saying that you don't want your identity to be found in football is because of how bad you sucked the last 2 years.
Right.
Okay.
That's
so don't come at me and tell me that now when people were talking about you in the offseason and you going to Alabama and transferring and them looking for a quarterback. And
now suddenly
I don't find my identity in football. You're full of it. Joe, I had Louisville in my top 10 this week. Louisville was actually, weren't they number 9 in the college football playoff rankings?
I think
they were number
9 or 10. 9 or 10.
Yeah, they were either 9 or 10. I think, like I said on Monday, I just like the way Louisville plays. There's not anything that I can just come out here and tell you that, like, hey, man, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this. And that's why I think they're going to beat Miami. But I think that they're playing better. They're just a better overall team. They're a better coach team than Miami. They don't have more talent than Miami does. They don't. They, like, from top to bottom, dude for dude, athlete for athlete, they don't. But a team at home that gives a shit, that, Joe, a team that nobody's talking about. What happens if Louisville in the ACC championship game could upset Florida State? Now,
I don't think that's their ceiling. They're not going to be able to beat Florida State.
Can you just hear me out?
Yes.
They are playing for more than Miami ever could. This game's going to mean more to them. And I think that is the reason why they're going to go out there and do it. Before you say Louisville can't do it, I'm just going to tell you this. It is a concern for me for Florida State. They can't run the football. And I got to tell you, when I look at Louisville, Joe, they are the number 9 team in the country in rush defense. They suffocate teams defensively. You remember the game against Notre Dame, okay?
Wait.
Just hold on.
Wait.
Stylistically, they are going to send pressure at you all night long. And they have corners that they go man-to-man coverage on. They don't care if you make a big play. They're going to play like their hair is on fire, and they're going to come knock you out on defense. I love watching Louisville play.
My original gut thought was to go with Miami just because of the talent, just because of the fact that we know that these rosters are talented and that Miami's trying to get back on their feet, regain their footing. But plain and simple, you just talked about the key thing there. The defensive mentality, just plainly off of defense. The defensive mentality for Louisville sets them up very favorably for what Miami has struggled with. Tyler Van Dyke, I'm not going to do my whole spiel on him, but he turns the ball over a lot. And he is a quarterback who, when pressured and placed into difficult situations, absolutely will make mistakes. Even with clean pockets, he makes mistakes. I watched Sam Hartman struggle tremendously because they said, you know what? We're going to come after you. We're going to load the box. You're not going to be able to run the football. If you want to beat us, throw the ball. I think that Ashton Gelati is one of the most under-talked about defensive linemen in the country. I also think that Quincy Riley on the outside is a strong corner. The way that they are built is enough to completely remove their rushing attack and to get 4 or 5 or so sacks and maybe get a turnover, get a pick. That's what they need to win this football game. And then the other part to this too, I look at the other side. Offensively, they don't have anybody that's in that like elite category at receiver or running back. But they got a lot of really dangerous, fast football players that play in an offense that knows how to position those guys to succeed. And one of the biggest qualms that we've had with Miami recently is their corners aren't very good. Their corners haven't played well at all recently. Jamari Thrash, Jawar Jordan, who's their very talented running back, they're going to pop off. They're going to have huge performances. I really do think that Louisville is going to win this game by like 7+. I think it's very possible.
I think they can win by more than that. You know why? Because if Van Dyke is your dude and Van Dyke plays, Joe, the way that they just send pressure after him all night, I think he's going to see ghosts. Like, I think this is a horrible, horrible game for them. If guys like AJ Allen and those dudes don't go off, it's going to be a long day. They will send more pressure than you can block. They're always going to send an extra dude. It's how Braun plays. It's how he's always played. Look at what they did at Purdue. It's the same philosophy, the same exact philosophy. They are going to send more dudes than you can handle up front. And I don't trust Tyler Van Dyke. Joe, you know what's so nuts? If you look at Miami just on paper, okay, like if you just look at them from stat for stat, athlete for athlete, Joe, you'd think they're a top 15 team. You would legitimately think that they're a top 15 team. You know why? Because they're not bad defensively. They're top 20 on defense. They're able to get off the field on third down.
But the problem is against nobody, though. They haven't Joe, really
and again,
been
but
tested.
But Joe, I am so tired of that argument because Louisville hadn't played a fucking soul. I'm sorry, and I love you, but Notre Dame is their biggest win. They're playing the same exact teams that Miami's playing.
But they're barely beating NC State and Virginia, which is the middle to the back end of the conference. That's where my concern comes into play.
Your team that you just talked about in North Carolina lost to Virginia. Louisville didn't lose to Virginia. Louisville lost to Pitt.
No, but they barely beat them is what I said. They barely beat Virginia last week.
You know what? I'm going to turn your words against you. And Washington almost beat Stanford. Almost lost to Stanford. Good teams find ways to win, is what you say.
But I can point out and I can bring up that Washington has a
strike it from the record.
Washington has a win over Oregon, and Washington has a win against Utah. They have USC. All of the games that Washington, all the opponents that Washington has faced, most of them, 80% of them are more difficult opponents than what Louisville has placed. That's why I hold reserve in buying into this.
If I told you that you had a top 20 defense and a top 30 scoring defense, a team that's in the 40s in scoring offense, they're one of the top teams in the country and getting off the field on third down, and they're rushing offense and defense. Joe, their rushing defense, they are top 5 in rush defense. Top 5. If I would just tell you that on paper, what I was trying to say is if I would tell you that on paper, you would say, okay, well, maybe they're not better than some of the other teams in other conferences. That's not my argument. You would say they're good. But what I was trying to get at before you rudely interrupted my ass, they turn the ball over. They have horrible quarterback play, and I got to be real with you. I don't trust Cristobal.
No. I agree with that.
That's why Louisville's going to win. God, talking about tension, we got tension tonight, buddy. All right.